Shanks vs. Blackbeard, a showdown between two emperors that's been on the back burner for over 20 years, since Shanks first revealed who it is that gave him his iconic scar on his left eye. Since their days as rookies on killer pirate crews like Roger and Whitebeard's, these two have showed prowess unheard of, with their first match going on to be a cornerstone of the tale we're a part of, and fans all over having lost their minds trying to figure out when their rematch is finally going to drop. Today, we're diving headfirst into how the clash comes together, why and when it might happen, and what each outcome of the battle could mean for the greater scheme of One Piece. Let's sail. The build-up starts early, with Shanks sailing with Roger while Teeth scrub decks under Whitebeard. Shanks sails all over with the Roger pirates and becomes mighty strong, with Haki we have yet to see surpassed. While Blackbeard, he was proving that he was a threat when he killed Thatch for the powers of the Dark Fruit. Their paths would first cross in a battle before any of this came to light, however, ending with Blackbeard using his claws to scratch out Shanks' eye, scarring him for life. Shanks would go on to rise as an Emperor of the Sea, mellow but deadly, a guy with silent menace, while Blackbeard continued clawing his way up, through Thatch and Whitebeard, ruthless and cunning as a coyote, cementing his place among the ranks of Shanks, Big Mom, and Kaido. Shanks gave a warning to Whitebeard on chapter 434, on the events leading up to what is now known as the Marineford War, a warning that foretells of untold danger from Blackbeard. But Teach would go on to kill Whitebeard anyway, stealing his powers, and hightailing it into the New World. On chapter 907, we saw Figureland and Shamrock come to talk to the Five Elders about a certain pirate. This has been speculated to be Blackbeard, and it would make sense since one of Shamrock's roles as a Holy Knight is to protect the world's order. We've also recently learned that Blackbeard is scheming over something that involves the entire world, as confirmed by Van Ogre and Katarina Devon in Egghead. Shanks knows this, and their paths are to cross once more. The Shamrock wildcard lingers, however, whose disdain for Shanks' pirate life, as well as his duty against Blackbeard's machinations, might lead to a three-way standoff, but that's a topic for another day. So where is this fight taking place? Elbaf? No way. Kid was merely a loose end that Shanks needed to tie up, taking him out to secure the island's stability, but setting sail immediately after. Shanks mobilizes because he must have heard of where Teach is hiding. Hachinosu is the perfect spot for this upcoming battle, as it currently is the neutral ground after Garp and Kobe tore it to pieces. There are no marines or cities to mess things up, as well as it being a huge open space where a lot of flashy action moments are bound to occur on par, if not better, than Garp's Galaxy Impact. And when is this battle supposed to occur? We are mid-Elbaf, and Oda's pacing of the story suggests that we have a few years left, unless he keeps stretching it out for kicks. Shanks vs. Blackbeard fits in perfectly towards the end of the Elbaf arc, shifting the point of view over to Hachinosu, or immediately after, exactly between Elbaf and whatever will come next. Blackbeard's been real quiet since fighting Law on Winter Island and defending against Sword and Garp on Hachinosu, but Egghead's chaos, including Vegapunk's death and Saturn's whole scheme, might have lit a fire under him to make his moves to strike Marijoa or move towards Laugh-Tale to claim the One Piece. Shanks is either going to intercept him before he can, or after he sets sail, but catches him at most on the coast of Hachinosu, ready for round 2 to begin. It's time for the cleanup, with Shanks and Blackbeard finally settling their score before Luffy takes the center stage for the finale of One Piece. But I hear you wondering, what would happen if either of them won? Well, let's start with Shanks. If he were to beat Blackbeard, Teach's crew would collapse, having no commander to serve under for their own interests. His Yonko status would crumble, and he can kiss his dreams of Laugh-Tale and world domination goodbye. Shanks would continue to stay in play, likely guarding the One Piece's path as well as setting up his reunion with Luffy. However, I feel this option is highly unlikely. Why? Blackbeard's plans. His entire character arc screams for world domination, taking Marijoa, toppling the Celestial Dragons, fulfilling that will of the wild card archetype. But that's endgame stuff, and it's hard to see all this occurring before this fight. Teach would need to stick around to pull off something this big later. If Teach were to win, it's a whole other game, and honestly, and more unfortunately, more probable. Shanks would go down with Teach absorbing his legacy as he once did Whitebeard's, and most definitely would get intel of Laugh-Tale and the Holy Land. His path would open wide. He takes out a Yonko, solidifies his reputation as an imminent danger, and marches towards fulfilling his goals, unchecked. Problem is, Shanks can't die yet, not without tying up some loose ends. He needs to reunite with Luffy to reclaim his Straw Hat, fulfilling the promise from chapter 1. There is also his line from chapter 1055 where Shanks says to his crew, "It's time, let's go claim the One Piece," a plot thread that has yet to play out. So if Teach wins here, it's not a kill. Shanks would retreat, wounded, and Teach, he would gain an edge. This is 20 years of hype hitting critical mass, with the winner deciding who will shape the war that's to come. So, what's your call? Does Shanks hold on, or does Teach take over? Hit the comments with your take, and we'll see you soon.